the Symphony Orchestra of India marking 20 years this year. 2006 is when Mr. Santuk and yourself decided to start this incredible orchestra. It's been an eventful 20 years journey. You can't describe it in a few words.
Martyn Brabbins will now be our official Chief Conductor from this season, from this concert on the 7th of Feb.
David Giusti, Carlo Rizzi also coming in.
Yes.
He's been here before. And Dame Sarah Connolly. Who are the ones you're looking forward to most? All right, we're very, very excited. The Symphony Orchestra of India's Spring 2026 season comes to the National Centre of Performing Arts. Starts on the 7th of February, goes all the way up till the 21st of February. 7 p.m. starts at the Jamshed Babar Theatre. Tickets are live as we speak on Book My Show as well as at the venue. I'm very pleased to welcome back onto the show Marat Bisengaliev, co-founder and artistic director, Symphony Orchestra of India. And joining him is Bianca Mendonca. She's General Manager of Symphony Orchestra of India and Western Classical Music at the NCPA. Hi Bianca, how are you?
Hi Hrishi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. And Marat, thank you for doing this. I hope you're well.
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Marat, I want to start with the Symphony Orchestra of India marking 20 years this year. 2006 is when Mr. Santuk and yourself decided to start this incredible orchestra. It's been an eventful 20 years journey. You can't describe it in a few words, but just what you're feeling right now, Marat.
Well, it's unbelievable how this 20 years gone past so quick. It was like yesterday. Yes, but having said that, I think we did quite a lot during this 20 years, and I think the orchestra now is really the orchestra which, together with Khusru, we dreamed about.
You know, Bianca, this season is something that Western classical music aficionados can't wait for it to begin. It's that beautiful, the lineup. I leave you to take us through it. The spring season calendar, I believe, features debuting soloists, return of some great conductors. So if you can give us an overview, please.
Sure, Hrishi. We're so excited. This is the 20th year of the SOI and our Spring 2026 season. It offers a very diverse program. So the opening concert starts with a concert conducted by Martyn Brabbins. Martyn Brabbins will now be our official Chief Conductor from this season, from this concert on the 7th of Feb. Martyn has had a very long-standing relationship with the SOI, with Marat and Mr. Santuk for, a long time. And this concert is going to feature a very unique work called The Planets. And The Planets is an orchestral suite. Every movement of the planets is named after a planet. We have Mars and Jupiter, except for Earth and Pluto. And the reason behind that is because the composer Holst, he composed the work thinking about it from an astronomical point of view. And so he didn't want to include Earth. And when he composed it, Pluto wasn't found yet. So these two planets are missing. But it has 110 musicians on stage because it's such a powerful work. And if you come to the concert, you will hear how powerful it is. The orchestra played this 10 years ago, conducted by Martyn Brabbins himself. So it's quite a special concert. And before that, we also have the Beethoven Symphony No. 1 in the first half of the concert. And here we're, starting this Beethoven cycle, which will go over the next 2 years of the SOI's programming. And the next concert on the 12th of February, Martyn conducts again, featuring Dame Sarah Connolly, who's a very, very world-renowned mezzo-soprano. And she will be singing the songs of a Wayfarer by Mahler. The second part of the concert will have Shostakovich's Symphony No. 10, which is a 50-minute symphony, again, a very large work, very, very difficult for the orchestra. But it is a historical work because when Shostakovich wrote this work, he wrote it just after the death of Stalin. And this was his way of showing what he felt, about the death of Stalin. And there's a lot of unrest and anger and tension in that symphony. The third concert, we have Carlo Rizzi, who is an Italian conductor, and he's coming back to conduct the SOI. He's mainly an operatic conductor, but he performs so often at the La Scala and the Met. He's really, really renowned in the opera world as well as the symphonic world. So he's going to conduct two concerts with us. The first concert on the 17th of Feb with the Dvorak Symphony number 8 and Sibelius Symphony number 2. And the last concert on the 21st of Feb is quite a special concert because we're bringing in a tenor, David Giusti, who will be singing these popular songs by Tosti. And Tosti is a composer whose songs are not performed very often because, it was composed for salon music and that doesn't quite exist much anymore. But our chairman is so fond of Tosti songs, and he said Mumbai really needs to hear these kind of songs. So David Giusti seems to have quite the perfect voice for that. So he'll be joining in, and that concert ends with the ever famous Beethoven Symphony number 5. For those of you who don't know it, it's those famous 4 notes that everybody sings and hums all the time. And besides these 4 concerts, we have a very special guest joining us for 2 talks and conversations, Norman Liebrecht. He's an author, he's a cultural commentator, and has written several books called Why Beethoven, Why Mahler, and he runs this international Western classical musical online website called Slipdisc. So this is his first time in India, and he will be giving 2 talks on the 6th of February and on the 16th of February. And that those talks are free for people to come and watch this conversation.
How beautiful, how powerful. Now, as you guys can fathom from what Bianca said, these concerts offer a journey through some of the most beloved, some of the most impactful works in the orchestral repertoire. So be sure to get your tickets. They're going out very, very fast. Marat, I'd like you to talk about Sir Martyn Brabbins' appointment as Chief Conductor starting this year. It's obviously a future roadmap for the SOI. He loves coming to India. He loves playing, being with the SOI. And you and him are longtime friends. So talk about how that will really benefit the orchestra.
I'm very happy about this appointment, particularly because I know, as you said, Martyn for a very long time, since he was a young student in Leningrad. And I was the one who probably gave him an opportunity, one of his first concerts with my orchestra in Almaty. And it's very interesting to know that he was my best friend at my first wedding. Yeah, so there are many things, many joint performances, me as a soloist, him as a conductor, and I played with his orchestra in Scotland with the BBC Scottish. So we've got probably more than 40 years of friendship and collaboration. So him agreeing to become a chief conductor of SOI, of course, it's a really big step for the SOI. And I am absolutely sure that it would be very beneficial for all of us, for the orchestra, for the future of the orchestra.
I want your thoughts on this amazing program. Please talk to me about what you're looking forward to most. David Giusti, Carlo Rizzi also coming in.
Yes.
He's been here before. And Dame Sarah Connolly. Who are the ones you're looking forward to most?
When Bianca said that Martyn performed the planets 10 years ago, I just couldn't believe my ears, because really it was again like yesterday. And I do think that performance of planets was one of the very best of the SOI. That's why when we talked all together with Bianca, with Hrishi, and we decided, why don't we try again to celebrate the arrival of Martyn as a chief conductor with one of the best performances, which I'm absolutely sure he would repeat. And of course, we're talking about Carlo Rizzi. For me, Carlo Rizzi really on the top of the tree. He's, for me, one of the very best conductors. And unlike Bianca, I do think that he is very good, not just in opera, program repertoire, but also he's really incredibly good in everything, whatever he does. In fact, he's performing the Fifth Symphony, and that was more or less my idea because I was so impressed with his performance, first performance in Mumbai, with that particular piece, because this is very popular, but also one of the most difficult pieces to perform. I can tell you that his version of Fifth Symphony Beethoven is probably, for me personally, is the best ever. So I insisted on him repeating this. So we have in this season the repeat of the Planes and the repeat of Beethoven, which I'm absolutely sure would be the highlights of this season.
Bianca, it's obvious that for Martyn Brabbins, Holst is one of his favorite composers, but I believe there is a huge India connection to Holst, and he's, written works inspired by Indian literature, inspired by studying Sanskrit. So I hope we'll be able to convince Sir Martyn Brabbins to moot out some kind of a theatrical performance based on all of Holst's India experiences.
You know, Martyn Brabbins loves to talk to the audience, and I'm quite sure before the concert begins, he will say something. He will say something about Holst, the India connection. And just to add on to the list of favorite composers for Martyn, he really loves Shostakovich. So, to all the Shostakovich fans out there, Martyn does a really good Shostakovich, which will be on the 12th. But yeah, the last time he conducted a Shostakovich last season, and we said, I told him as a joke, I said, instead of doing the Beethoven cycle, I think we should do a Shostakovich cycle with you.
And Dame Sarah Connolly also, I mean, somebody with such a rich musical heritage and legacy. I believe her understanding of music and her artistry is also something that all of us need to soak in.
Yes, Dame Sarah Connolly really comes from a very, very renowned. Her background is amazing. She's really on top. She's one of the best mezzo sopranos there is, and we are very lucky to have her here. This would be her India debut, and Martyn, sort of made this connection between us and said, why not invite her? And we jumped and said, yes, if she's willing to come, why not? And that's how it all worked out. So we're really, really excited about having her as part of our season.
Marat, just a little bit more about Carlo Rizzi. Bianca did lead us through some of the works that we're going to get to experience. But I believe under Rizzi's baton, the orchestra is also going to explore works by Dvorak, Sibelius, Rossini, and some Puccini and Wagner.
Well, as Bianca said, that he is a specialist in operatic program, and of course, being kind of Italian, he is a specialist in Rossini, in Italian operas, and in general, he's very thought after conductor, not just in England but throughout the world, particularly in the Metropolitan in New York, very prominent regular conductor. So to have him and agreeing him to come to us, that's a real sign that we are doing very well as an orchestra. Yes, we can attract conductors of such a standard as Carlo Rizzi, as Zubin Mehta, as Charles Dutoit. So this is something which I'm incredibly proud. To talk about the program, and I could tell that the Sibelius we performed before, yes, but that would be probably that's the first time Carlo Rizzi will be showing his signature and knowledge in Sibelius. I regret that we don't have Hrishi Santuk with us, because he is probably the best to talk about the opera program and also about the singers, because when I talk to Hrishi about singers, about opera, I feel like an amateur. I have to admit, yes, because his knowledge of singing, and yes, and I'm sure that when Norman Lebrecht comes to Mumbai. Yes, I'm sure those two, Khushru and Norman Lebrecht. I know Norman Lebrecht since a very long time. Incredibly interesting and a very knowledgeable critic, who actually gave quite a lot of critics to my playing also. Some good, some bad, but that's the job of a critic, and I'm really grateful to it. But that's also a really good breakthrough that the critic of stature, yes, comes to Mumbai to witness our orchestra.
I'd just like to add to what Bianca had said. Norman Lebrecht's talks are 6th and 16th. They're at the Godrej Dance Theatre. So that's the venue, the Godrej Dance Theatre. Again, please get on to Book My Show, get on to the box office at the venue, and please start booking for the SOI spring season. I want to just come back to something you briefly mentioned at the top, Bianca. You said you're starting a Beethoven cycle. So it's a 2-year period, 9 symphonies. The reason behind doing a Beethoven cycle and what audiences can expect, I think that'll be a nice way to sign off.
So when we started planning the next couple of years with Martyn Brabbins, Marat, Mr. Santok and myself, Martyn thought it would be a good idea to start this Beethoven cycle because next year would be 200 years since the death of Beethoven. And so we plan to do around 2 symphonies every season. And in August, September next year, we will end with Beethoven number 9, which is, of course, his last symphony, but it's also that massive one with the choir, and it would really give us a good end. So this season we start with 1 and 5, and every season we plan to do around 2 symphonies, and we finish the cycle next year. Beethoven is also a composer that is loved by everybody, but I think especially by the Mumbai audiences.
Yes, of course. And he was just talking about Symphony Number 5. How wonderful is that? The Symphony Orchestra of India Spring 2026 season starts 7th February, goes on to the 21st. Evening performances start at 7 p.m. at the Jamshed Baba Theatre. And of course, the 2 talks by Norman Lebrecht we've already told you about. Thank you very, very much, Bianca Mendonca and Marat Bisengaliev, for talking to us, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Soon.
One world, your station.